stay away, cause now you're mine. Trips to the Bahamas, smells.
Hey yo, LAZ, make sure you check that full video on YouTube, Scar City, Soul Cypher Volume 1. Leave a comment, tell them Z-Man Suicide Polo with the Ski Man sent you. Hey yo, LAZ, peace to the God, Shabue. Shout out to the whole Brooklyn, the whole East New York. You heard a few from East New York out there. Let me know what block, what Ave, what street you out there repping, what projects, what boulevard. You heard? Shout your block out. Let me know where you at. Gen Pop gang, we in the building. Comment gang. You already snow flurry. I need y'all to tear this up. Get that algorithm popping. You heard? You see this on the premiere? Make sure you come in that chat and shout me out. You heard? Z-Man Suicide Polo with the Ski Man. I mean, I'm back to business. Dropping them classics for the streets. You heard them classic, historic stories for the streets. You love what I'm doing on this channel, feel free and proud to send me a Cash App donation at $ Gen Pop Fam.
And this particular event was when I was charged in 91 with 6 counts of attempted murder on New York City police. This wasn't no little situation. It was street sweepers involved. It was Max involved. When I went to trial, they played the tapes of people calling in from every part of the project, screaming and hollering like, yo, they shot 1,000 shots out there. So as soon as I get there, they must have just bust somebody open. Blood was fresh, leaking, all out the shit. They ain't even clean it up or nothing. I said, oh shit, these motherfuckers sending me to one of these spots. All right, well, this one right here, and once again, like I say, peace, this is Shabue Law, that these particular stories and everything else that we giving up, we not giving them up to glorify the hood, glorify none of the things that we went through in these events, but to more or less reinforce that nothing ain't changed out here except for technology. Because when we was doing what we was doing in the 80s, it was a whole different time. So the story that I'm going into is a whole lot of things involved for the makeup what took place. And this particular event was when I was charged in 91 with 6 counts of attempted murder on New York City police. During that time, like I said, it was a time where it was really lawlessness. And the reason why I state that within the 5 boroughs, because I had just went up north in 88 due to what took place with Cat and them out in Queens. So I was amongst that first bunch that got knocked off by TNT. So I went up north in 89, and I came home. I was in Queensboro for work release. Matter of fact, when I was in work release, I had already jumped basically back into the game because on Sunday, I just took over the spot. That's a whole nother story with the Logan Street thing and the guards. But I was doing my thing then, and I was in work release. So this is what's leading up to this event that took place. I'm not gonna say really the reason why or how it happened or whatever, but I'm gonna jump into it because when I came home, like I said, that I was dealing with that. We had a tailor shop out in Queens on Supton Boulevard, you know, and I speak about that in another one of my videos about, you know, Supreme coming there when he got released, and he had a whole long roll of bulletproof, material. And he wanted the guard that he know that, is our brother to make him a bunch of hoodies and everything for that. And the reason why I'm stating a bunch of this is because everything is like intertangled.
What you mean he just had the bullet, he just had the material?
Yeah, he just had the material. And we had a tailor shop, which was called High Five at that time, which, if a lot of people that know, when they watch Raising Cain and the Cat Unique, where was his headquarters? His headquarters was in the tailor shop. And anybody that know anything about that whole story, everybody know the part that Joey Badass played Unique is really, representing Cream. So we actually had a tailor shop there, and at that time, the two dudes that was tailors for us, they used to be the tailors for Dapper Dan. Their name was, one of them was Muhammad, and the other one name was Zet. So we had all type of pictures, from them doing, all that MCM and everything else. But like I said, Pre-Met came there when he came home. I don't know how he ran into this role, a bulletproof material, but he wanted us to make some, hoodies and all that for him. It didn't never transpire, but I'm only throwing the tailor shop in there because that's a part of the story. So, like I said, I'm doing my thing, and this situation takes off where it's just, crazy gunfire, in the projects, late at night. And I mean, it's retarded, because back then, the street sweepers, calicos, Tech Nines, all that. And that was another thing. That's a whole other story right then, because I was going down the Southern Gun World in Virginia, bringing all that back. And like I said, to add with the story of it being the Wild Wild West, that everybody got to understand that during that time, New York City police officers was only carrying 38 revolvers. They did not start carrying 9mm until Giuliani was elected into office. Giuliani's the first one to turn that over. And whether it be by chance or it being a part of the whole diabolical plan for them to allow a bunch of guns, the music started changing from being conscious, and along, once again, the greatest devastation that hit us, with us unbeknown to it, the crack era, So along with this economics came plenty of guns. So at that time, and I'm just keeping it 100, with the team and everything in the project and how it was, the police would ride up in there, and we talk about 75th, and they'd see us standing under the building, and they could see was bulging out our waist. But like I said, the difference nowadays is that a lot of things is no longer political or revolutionary. So we had a reason to be like that also from, my childhood friend Randolph Evans, one of the first ones that I was close with, that I could identify with. It go all the way back to Clifford Glover getting killed out in Queens, and Preem and Prince and all of them, remembering that, because all of us from the 60s, like a 10-year-old being killed with his father. But my best friend at that time, Randolph Evans, 1976, was killed by a police officer. So with the drugs, the guns, the power, we on some ABD, anybody can get it, because it's the revolutionary state of mind. Also, along with that the police is, they gonna do their thing, and they murder us all the time out in the field. And I'm not saying no justification for people to go out and think, you know what I'm saying, that they got to handle law enforcement, because without law, it's going to be nothing but shadows and everything. But I'm talking about the lifestyle that we was living. So the police, they knew they was out guns, so they ride by and see that, and they keep it moving, because they can look in individuals' eyes and know before 6 of us go running with guns on us, it's going to be a problem. Compared to nowadays, where it might be 6 individuals up there with guns, as soon as, you know, one cop pull up on a bicycle, everybody's taking off. But anyway, like I said, the situation had occurred where it ended up being this big shootout with the police over in Cypress. And I was arrested for it. They picked me up. They didn't charge me with the 6 attempt murders at first. They just charged me with reckless endangerment, bunch of bullshit or whatever. And basically, I got bailed out that night.
You said it was in the projects, though?
Yeah, it was in my projects that it took place, you know? So, this was like May the 25th of 91. I was home like maybe like 8 months. But you know, like I said, I'm already in the mix. I got, you know, all of this is involving me being over at Think Houses at that time. I was doing my thing over there on Lawrence Street. I think that's 1353. And the only reason I'm mentioning that, because also that's a part of this particular story. So, like I said, it popped off on, that might have been like in the morning sometime. Anyway, the police rolled up or whatever, you know, after the bang out in the projects, and we so happenly been in a car and rolling, and the police got behind us, you know, and they made me the driver of the vehicle, only because that when they confiscated the vehicle, which was a rental car, you know, it was a bag that they found in the car with my ID in it. And the only reason I'm giving you all this, because when we dealing with cases and everything, the reason why a lot of idiots go to jail is because they don't study and they don't know no law, so they don't got the proper defense. And this is also a story that shows you, you know what I'm saying, as far as being stand up, because, you know, whether individuals want to accept it or not, all of us be around individuals that done told in some shape, form, or fashion, you know, and we be shot every day on YouTube when they bring up, you know, well, he told back in 1977 on my uncle or whatever, but then, you know, it's like everything else is different strokes for different folks. So you will want to accept this individual right here being a snitch. But when you hear somebody that you heard that was supposed to be stand up and they went under that pressure, because when you take it things like that to trial, then, you know, it's serious. So I was facing 165 to life. So what took place, like I said, was basically they found my ID in the vehicle that they chased it, so therefore they came looking for me. At that time, I had a little, you know, when my chicks were staying over there on Logan Street between Hagerman and Linden Boulevard. Matter of fact, you did a video with your man over there when you did the one Survivor North Carolina. Y'all had did a video over there in Cypress. So I was over there. So I'm up in her crib and everything, chilling, and all of a sudden 4 detectives come to a house with gold badges. So I was upstairs in the shower, whatever. I got out, came downstairs. They said, yo, we'd like to speak to you at the precinct about, you know, some situation that occurred last night. I said, no problem. You know, put my shorts on and everything. unbeknown to me, they had already went to my old Earth crib in the projects, 345 Fountain Avenue. And when my old Earth let them in, they basically, bogarted their way around the crib without even having a search warrant. So what they did was they found a letter from, between me and my chick that time that was living over there. So they came to her house and I was over there. So we went down to 75th, everything, they telling me what took place, that basically 6 of their police officers was shot at last night, and they found my bag with my ID in the vehicle. So therefore I had to be there. So, I'm trying to play, I don't know what you're talking about or anything like that. And the next step came is they put a bunch of crackheads in the lineup, and they put me in the lineup with them. And of course, if it's officers that's saying that you did something, you're going to be picked out of the lineup. And that's what happened. So now they picked me out the lineup, boom, 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 and they come back in the interrogation room like, yo, we know you was the one who was driving the car, boom, 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 bop, bop, bop. So I ended up telling them, yeah, I was the one that was driving the car. Unbeknown to me, which would come to pass when I start to get into the whole details of ending up, in the Beacon and everything else with other individuals, that there's what you call duress, right? And under the duress law, that means that if you in the commission of a felony, like me and you were together last, and we just walking down the street, and all of a sudden I see a cat I don't like, and I'll be like, yo, fuck that, man. I'm a judge this nigga and disrespect him, and I go over to the nigga, pull out, yo, take your shit off, boom, boom, boom. I'm going through my script, and then I call you over, and I'll be like, yo, lads, go in this nigga's pocket and take his money out. And you look at me like, yo, Shy, I ain't got nothing to do with that. And I say to you, like, yo, nigga, if you don't do that shit right now, I'm gonna blow your head off, right? So now I put your life in what you call what? Imminent danger. So you committed that felony under duress, and the individual that made that the primary case, presidential case or whatever, is the chick Patty Hearst. Remember Patty Hearst, was the big her mother and father and them ran the newspaper, had crazy money, and she got with the seven lease army or whatever. Like they was like an off branch of the Black Liberation Army. And she went around robbing banks and all that. But when she went to trial on it, they used it, the duress theory, that the only reason that she participated in these felony acts was because her life was in imminent danger of the people that she was around. And that's how that all got thrown out. The Patty Hearst thing is what made the duress thing stick up. But of course, at that moment, I didn't know law to any extent like that. But I'm just laying all that out. But that's how it's going to fit later on when I go through the rest of the story and how I beat this shit in trial. So that's what that's all about right there, the duress. So like I said, I'm in the precinct, 75th precinct. So I break down, yo, yeah, I'm gonna tell you what happened. I was the driver, but when I pulled up in the parking lot, you know what I'm saying? Some dudes came toward me, with hoodies on and all that shit like that, and they pulled the gun on me and made me get back in the car and drive for them. Okay? Because they made me the driver, lads. All right? So now I tell my story to them. Okay? So basically, they still taking me down to 210 Geronimo Street. And they said, yo, you willing first, you know, they're going to make you write it out to the best of your ability. And then they said to me, yo, you want to, you know, tell the story to the DA. Now, if you're innocent, any innocent person is going to tell the story to anybody because they're innocent. So I said yes. And you know, that's taking a big chance because most people making videos before anything, consulting with a lawyer, going to any hearings, anything, that shit gonna come back to haunt you worse than you telling the police something, because you making a video confession. So boom, I never forget. So boom, 75th finally decided to take me down there. I get down there, they got this hot shot new district attorney. His name was Garcia, and they put him on me for the interview. So he start asking me, yo, boom, what happened? Bop, 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 bop. So I tell him, yo, I was coming from my job out in Queens, da 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 da. I got this car. Now, mind you, the rental car that I got, that shit ain't in my name, lads. You know what I'm saying? But I'm coming from the tailor shop. I tell you how all that fit in as we go along. And I was coming from my job and everything else. And I pulled up in the parking lot, and then all of a sudden, I just heard a bunch of gunfire and everything else. I was trying to get out my car, but I couldn't. These dudes came up with hoods and guns, and they got into my car. They told me to drive. Now, in the course of me driving, understand this is when the 6 attempt murder shit takes place, because, you know, I'm coming out of Cypress parking lot, supposedly going toward Linden Plaza, and the car gets on that strip, which is called Eldridge Lane, which is the same strip that the fire department is on. But along that strip, somehow an individual leans out the window, you know what I'm saying, with a Mac 10 and starts, you know, whistling off bullets at them, and reloads another clip, and the car goes across, you know, because that's the only part of Linden Boulevard where they make it so that the fire trucks could go across all 4 lanes. So me, the supposedly driver, knowing the area, I took the car across all 4 lanes, went around, what's that, anyway, went around the pink houses and turned the corner on, that's Stanley and Lauren. Or is that Lauren now? That's Lauren, whatever. And then the individual jumped out the car, but in the process of the individuals jumping out the car, another police car pulled up, and the individual shot at the police again. So this is 2 occasions in this one situation in which the police was shot at. Now, all the individuals that was involved with this all got away, but I'm the only one that ID was found inside this car. So I'm the one that they got. So like I said, as the DA dude is so-called, you know, cross-examining me about this, he says, well, if his first thing was the windows up or down? I said, look, man, it's May. I had the windows down, you know? And me coming into Cypress at that time is like nothing for gunfire. Gunfire goes on all the time. Matter of fact, David Dinkins had just came to the projects, and one of my little mans shot off the roof with like 80 police down there with an AK. So that was a part of my trial too, to show, you know what I'm saying, how, you know, that environment was in which that I lived in. So he asked me that. I said, no, I had the windows down, and dude came, stuck a gun to my head, while the other, you know, 4 perpetrators or whatever got into the car and told me to drive. He said, okay, then while you driving, you know, why did you speed up when the police got behind you? I said, because the individual that had the gun in my head told me that if I don't drive fast enough, he's going to blow my brains out. So I couldn't do 55 miles an hour, right? Okay, so, you know, he goes on with the interview because, you know, their job is to make sure that you telling the truth. And if you telling anything that's not right and exact, then they're going to come back with the video. Just like what's going on right now in the streets. You can't beat the streets because of cameras and cell phones. In the 80s, if you blew somebody's brain out on the side block, you just was worried about whether, you know, somebody saw you do it, was Miss Mary in the window, and she had to physically come and testify or, you know, give an affidavit or something. But nowadays, there's cameras everywhere, and like we know, most people when situations take place, they gonna put you on their phone on camera. But this is not that era at that time. But I'm just going through why it's a difference. So we continue with the interview. Now, mind you, in this interview, right, that this wasn't no little situation. It was street sweepers involved. It was Max involved. It was 9mm involved. Matter of fact, when I went to trial, they played the tapes of people calling in from every part of the project, screaming and hollering like, yo, they shot 1,000 shots out there. This shit sound like Peru, all that. You know what I'm saying? The police, when they get shot at, screaming and hollering, oh, they shooting at us. Yeah, that type of situation. So, you know, fortunately, you know, none of New York City's finest was shot that night. And I guess because of that, I am still here alive to tell you, and, you know, not doing 1,000 years or dead. But, you know, that just was a different unit that just happened to be you know, the vehicle unit, the dudes that deal with drag racing and all that. That was their team, because 75th was crazy at that time. And once the D's got involved, it was a whole different situation. Helicopters, all that shit was out there. They loved that type of drama. Is bang out with them. So, like I said, they came, we went through all that right there. So they didn't charge me with the 6 attempt murders on the police. They charged me with 6 counts of reckless endangerment against the police. They charged me with all type of possessions of guns, because they found the street sweeper, they found the Max, they found the 9s. And what was so ironic about it, it was crazy because later on in the case, like I said, when I start to learn law and going through the bill of particulars and everything else, the DD file, you know, files and everything, and that's how I found out that 7 o'clock that morning, this had happened like 3 something in the morning. But 7 o'clock in the morning, some good Samaritan came out their building and seen a bunch of guns like in the bushes and called the police. But I'm saying at that time, all them little niggas over there, they would have been so happy, like, yo, this is Christmas, we got streetwood, Max, all that. But they turned it in. And the one gun that they were saying that I used was the street sweeper. They claimed they had my print on it, all this other bullshit. So they had that. They had all the way from an A-class felony, well, not an A at that time, because it wasn't trumped up, to the 6 attempt murders. It just was the reckless endangerment, you know, weapon possession, you know, in the 3rd, 2nd, all that shit. They even went as far as to charge me with unauthorized use of a vehicle, which was the E-class felony. So like I said, boom, that night, you know, my peeps hit my broad off. She came, bailed me out. So I'm chilling. My PO at that time Her name was Joyce Woodard. And we was mad cool because she used to fuck with this cat that lived a block over from me named Stink, old timer OG. His mom used to run numbers named Miss. So, you know, I known Stink ever since I was a little cat growing up in the hood. And she told me, yeah, I used to go with Stink back in the day. And she was like, yo, as long as you don't come tested for no cocaine, heroin, and none of that shit right there, you good as gold. You could smoke up Jamaica and it ain't gonna be no thing. But the reason I'm saying that because she called me and said, yo, I'm not gonna violate you because you made it back out. And you know, if it was a parole hold, you could have $1 bail and you're not going nowhere. But I was able to slide through. But she didn't violate me. So okay, I'm out, everything is cool, and all of a sudden, did they come back? Or no, that was what I left out, was the part when they came to arrest me, lads, right? Remember I said we had the tailor shop out on Sutton Boulevard. It was between 116th Road and 116th Avenue. We was right next to some Jamaicans that used to sell mad hella weed out there back then. Anybody was in that time era, they'll tell you. So, matter of fact, we was like maybe 2 blocks over from Basin. Okay? So, when they came looking for me, yo, lads, my man 93, I'm gonna call him in this one. He said, yo, Shy, when them niggas came for you, the shit was crazy. He said them niggas came off the roof, SWAT gear, all that military shit, everything, when they raided, you know, the tailor shop. So they was looking for me. So my man at first was like, yo, what the fuck I done did? What the fuck these niggas is coming for me by? What's going on? So they asked for me by my government name because that was my place of employment. So he like, nah, he ain't here, you know? But they didn't have no time to get to me that these cats, no, they did, because they sent my man, God bless the dead Gil. They sent them out there and told me, yo, the police had just came and hit the tailor shop looking for you. And they left the car. So when they did that, I'm like, yo, man, let me call these niggas and see what's up. So I called them, and niggas was like, yo, we want you, you know, to come in. We need to talk to you about the situation. We need you to come down to 210 Geronimo Street the next day. So I said, bet. Because, you know, I'm out. My PO ain't going to lock me up. I'm out on bail and everything. I was $4,000 cash bail, whatever. And I decided to go in. So I get up that morning. And, you know, my wifey at the time was like, yo, Shy, you want me to go with you? I'm like, nah, I'm cool. And I ain't thinking it's nothing. And so I'm going in there, you know, Bally's on, got the motherfucking big, that's when the Gucci chain was out. I had big Gucci chains on, all this shit. So boom, I get down to Geronimo Street. I go upstairs. And, you know, they got like, you know, the plexiglass shit right there. And they got the secretary. So I told the secretary my government name, and the broad goes, okay, all right, have a seat. Wrote my name down, lads. Got up from the seat. Now, mind you, there's a bunch of other people in there that's waiting, like, you know. She gets up, goes to the back, comes back out, and tells me boom. She said, yo, you could come right on in. You know, so automatically when she do that, and everybody been here before me, and you telling me, yo, they want to see you right now. I'm like, man, spider team. But I ain't thinking it's going down. So lads, as soon as I walked like out of the eyesight of her, you know, little thing that she got right there, and I walked through the first door, it's like 2 D's waiting for me, gold badges. Niggas slam me up against the wall, handcuff me. So now they take me in to the office, And all these niggas that's sitting around got gold badges on. These the district attorney special detective unit and all that fly shit. So boom, you know, I'm sitting down, I'm like looking around, you know, because at this time, like it could be anything. Not that the Fed situation was a big situation at that time, you know, because that's before 94. 94, that's when it really started going down, because just like right now, which hopefully my man should be coming home soon, Tut was the first one that they used your state criminal background to enhance you on the federal level, and that's why they gave him life without no parole. So at that time, it really wasn't going crazy with them with making up all these RICO cases, but still that's in the atmosphere because all this shit done just took place with Fat Cat and Pappy and all of them, the whole Queen shit. So I'm like, man, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, these ain't no regular motherfuckers. So next thing I know, and anybody that know anything about Kings County, you know, district attorneys and all this shit, they brought this cat in there. This motherfucking name was Kanansky, right? He had been a DA like 19 years, and he was almost like the cat that was from out of Queens, Kew Garden. What was his name? Stan Tucci or whatever. All them niggas had crazy, like 90% conviction rate. So now, understand, remember when I made the video confession, it was this young, you know, hotshot Garcia type dude. This dude is totally different. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Lance, when this nigga sat down, this motherfucker had, you know, blue eyes, like, what's that shit, Game of Thorns? Like the ice people and all that shit. Their eyes are so blue, it's like it's cold, like it could go right through you. And this motherfucker said, look, man, I don't give a fuck about no drug gang shit, no, you know, 18 drug shit, y'all, you know, shooting all this back and forth. He said, but what I do care about is that y'all had the audacity to shoot at 6 New York City's finest. And for that, you understand, I need to know what you gonna do. You know what I'm saying? I'm standing, I'm sitting down, tough, you know, my head down, all this shit. You know, now it's time to be theatrical. You know what I'm saying? And I pull my head up. Yo, sir, I don't know what you talking about. I ain't had nothing to do with it, though. The whole kit and caboodle. And the motherfucker look at me, he said, well, yo, and you don't know who had nothing to do with it, you ain't got nothing to say or know anything, then you gonna handle this shit. And that's when it went from the 6 counts of reckless endangerment against the police to the 6 counts of attempt murder on the police. Now, attempt murders carry the same thing as you killing somebody. That's each officer was, you know, carried 25 to life. And which I didn't know until way later on. Now I'm gonna talk about that. So now, from that point on, you know, it's on and popping. The situation is here now. So, boom, we upgrade the charges. My bond went from the 4,000 that I came out on to 100,000, over $100,000 cash. So my people, no 10%, no, you know, 10, 15,000, none of that shit is bringing me home. So I'm already like, yo, with a bail like that, don't even worry about that shit. With the lawyer, it's a whole different story. So at that time, my bro didn't have a phone in the crib. So she used to have to go out to Linden Boulevard between like 8 and 8:30, you know, for me to call her. So I done already put that shit in my mind. So, of course, I'm right downtown. They take me to Brooklyn House. I'll go up on the 6th floor. That's when Born Son was in there. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of other people, but I bring up Born Son because he was the guard. You know what I'm saying? You know, we knew each other from young growing up, Brownsville, all that shit, Art, Future, all that, boom, boom, boom. And, you know, the guard was who he was at that time. So he had shit on lock and walking around with Rolexes, Rolex chains, all that crazy shit. So we Gucci. And I don't know what the fuck happened with, you know how them officers, some motherfucker may come in, don't like you or whatever. So they transferred me down to the 4th floor. At that time, it was mainly Staten Island niggas and, you know, mostly Peru, Puerto Ricans down there. So they took me down there at night or whatever. I go in the cell, boom, boom, boom. Motherfucker right next to me is playing this radio. You know how the motherfuckers take the cracker box and, you know, so-called got speakers hooked up to the shit. So I'm like, yo, man, you gotta cut that shit down. Listen, oh, motherfucker, you know, I've been here and I ain't gotta cut my shit down, all that. All right, no rap, nigga. I see you as soon as we lock out. But what was the situation was they was running shit down there. So, bing, 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 bing. By the morning, that whole attitude and everything had changed and everything else. So when I step out, you know, I see the few blacks or whatever, few motherfuckers I know or whatever. They like, yo, Sha, da-da-da-da. Say, yo, what's going on with the phone? So they like, yo, we get on it, but like, so I'm looking at these niggas like, yo, these niggas is weak. Them niggas is not gonna be playing me like that. So sure enough, lads, you know, out the fucking gate, they had some motherfucker named Panama that's supposed to be their strength. I'm like, look, man, 8 to 8:30, I got to have that motherfucking horn. My girl gonna be out there, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no situation where that shit could be negotiated. So now, go in for, you know, whatever the fuck, lunch, child, whatever the fuck. By the time we get ready to lock back out, you know, the jig is up. So now, motherfuckers tell me pack up. You know, we all in the elevator. Y'all tough guys, all this shit like that. You getting ready to go to the alley. You know? So, you know, fucking jail is jail. I ain't comfortable nowhere I go, no matter if I'm comfortable. But that's how the fuck they play. So, now we going to the alley. I don't know nothing about the Beacon. You know, HDM I know, and I ain't really know, I keep it real. I was never really no jail nigga like that, Sparfit, none of that shit like that, because I was always taught, get away with shit. Going to jail, that shit ain't cool. So, I get there, and now all of a sudden, we going to the Beacon. You know, usually we in HDM, now I'm hearing the Beacon. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? The Beacon? What the fuck is the Beacon? Now this is 91. It was around June. Yeah, this was around June. Cause I had that. I know it was around June because I got my little, you know, ID card when I hit there. It said I was kosher, all that shit playing the role. Boom, boom, boom. So when I got there, the Beacon was only there like maybe 4, 5, 6 months at top. It was fresh. Because, you know, they made the Beacon for upstate prisoners at first. They was going to use it for niggas that was getting 1 to 3s and all that. That's why they made the Beacon so that shit was glossy back then. You know? Fly as a motherfucker. They never let us go. They had that outside field. At that time, they wouldn't let us go out. But when I got there, you know, it was popping. Everybody, Uzi, says, this one, that one, you know, the motherfucking moon. Everybody that was somebody was in there. So the first side they sent me to was 3A. And when I got the 3A, they called night rec. And you know how that go. They call anything. I got to go out and see what the fuck is going on so that, you know, I know what's the movement or who's there. Oh, that's what it was. We was coming through the hallway, and I seen my man Henry, Khalil, our Reef's cousin and shit, and he had shit on lock. He was popping, so he had already told this little cat. That was my man. This motherfucker was funny as a motherfucker because he was a pretty boy ass nigga. He was from Harlem. I never forget him. Little Sean. He was light skinned, had green eyes. But anyway, it was him and my other man that was light skinned from Queensbridge, Khalil. You know, and he told them, yo, that's Big Bro right there. Look out for him on the phone. You know, so 3A at that time, that's when, you know, that shit was just getting started. Black phone, Spanish phone, and everything else. But, you know, it was going down in there and everything. But I was cool with them. So he told me, yo, come to night, you know, night gym when they call that shit, night rep. I said, yo, I'll be there. So I got there, boom, boom, boom. He running down shit, you know, what was going on in there. And I'm telling them what was going on in the hood. Blah, 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 blah. So I get back. Everything is Gucci. Niggas got weed, all that shit. So the next morning, we go to fucking Chow. So we go to Chow, and I'm on the line with Khalil, and I'm in the back talking and everything else. And then, you know, we get to the mess hall. So when we get to the mess hall, I see this chick, right? All these niggas gonna know what I'm talking about is really fucking 1,000. Her name was Miss Jones. Fine as a motherfucker, right? But at that time, you know how that shit go, lads. I'm out there doing my thing, man. Like, really, if you ain't my main broad, and it's just a situation or whatever. So I really kind of half-assed forgot about the broad, and she was, you know, she was all right. I just didn't never get back around to her like that. So the broad sees me, and I was like whispering that shit to my man Khalil, and I'm like, yo, I know Shorty. I fucked it with Shorty in the streets. So I'm not figuring that Shorty got power like that, but you know how it is. The bad of the broad is, you know, all the captives, everybody want to fuck her and everything. So she got shit on lock. But I don't know what's going on at that time. So we go in, mess hall, do our thing, come back. We go in, you know, back into ourselves, whatever, after breakfast or whatever. And next thing I know, they said lockdown, because you get a chance to hang out for a few, and then they say lockdown for whatever they gonna do, count, whatever. But they was like, yo, y'all gotta lock it down. So we lock it down. Next thing I know, it's a bunch of motherfucking, you hear all the motherfucking, you know, COs coming in. You know, that's Ninja Turtle time. There wasn't the Turtles, but motherfucking the Beacon Squad, they was doing their thing too. So I'm in the cell, and you know, two big COs, they come to the cell and all that. Like, yo, man, you gotta pack up. I'm like, pack up for what? They said, yo, big man, we don't know what's going on, but the CO broad said something like you was threatening to she know you, whatever the fuck, bop, 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 bop. I'm like, yo, who, what? They said, look, man, you don't want to go through all this, man. Just pack your shit, and you know you gonna move. So I packed my shit up. He was another one of them little racist white sergeants with the thick mustache. I forgot that motherfucker's name. Anyway, so while I'm dragging my shit, I'm like, yo, Cap, what's up? What's the problem? He like, yo, I'm not gonna have nobody in here first off the rip disrespecting my officer, this, that, and the third. I'm like, disrespect your officer? What officer? He's like, yo, Miss James. So I see, oh, this little bitch got them gravitating toward her and everything. So this is when that 9 blood and all that shit was first popping off, and they ain't had nothing to do with the bloods. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, big ass Robo Just was in there, you know? So you know how they go off the rip. Oh man, I think we should send them to 9 block, but I don't know 9 block is popping like that, and they calling it 9 blood. But anyway, they decided not to send me to 9 block. but they sent me over to 4A. So I get on that side, you know, you got the gates in the beacon that open, and then you go in, and then once you in, they lock that gate, and then they buzz and hit the joint for you to go in the dorm. So as soon as I get there, they must have just bust somebody open. Blood was fresh, leaking, all out the shit. They ain't even clean it up or nothing. I said, oh shit, these motherfuckers sending me to one of these spots. So you know, but I ain't lose none of my up north shit yet. I wasn't home long enough, so I was still, you know, pretty much cop. So big nigga coming in, everything else like that. Motherfuckers are just looking, boom, boom. I go to the cell, I come out, I post up, get me a chair. You know, I want to see how this phone shit or who's like running shit. Now, Laz, this shit is like basically the daytime. So you know the daytime, like even if niggas want to be critical, you gotta let niggas kind of half-ass. And you real niggas, you gonna kind of let them niggas live to 3 o'clock. Really, basically, motherfuckers don't really start, you know, to really a little bit before dinner, and then really that run after dinner is really, you know, the motherfuckers that's running the phone. So I'm looking around, this is the daytime, and I see niggas not getting on the phone the daytime. That's my man, Sha King. I think Sha King was Jamaican. He was out of Crown Heights. He was a barber. And I'm going to tell you about that later on, because he was the barber. And Bar Kim was from Fort Greene. Another light-skinned dude, you know, no homo. But these niggas, you know, they was doing their thing, wavy, all that shit like that. And I'm seeing these niggas just on the jet, like, just having a ball. And I'm like, damn, if this shit is going on in the daytime, what the fuck is going to go on when it comes to night slot? So I was saying, damn, I know what this is about. But sure enough, you know, the energy came. So I'm sitting there, and here come my man, Little Eyeball, Brownsville and Pink Houses and all that. You should run with the team. You one of the original younger dudes that, you know, is not the baby 18, but the little ones that was underneath us, you know. So I born come, I'm like, yo, what's up with this jet? He like, yo, you know, D, all them, you see ones on there right now, they basically run the horn, wah, da-da-da-da. So I said, yo, you got something? He said, yeah, I got something. So he goes in, I go with him to the cell. He give me one of them old, rusty, you know, straight linoleum cutters. I'm like, yo, I'm good. Because I don't give a fuck how big you is. Niggas is blasting on you, or you might have to make a real statement other than just, you know, some knockout, fight, anything, whatever. So let me be prepared. So sure enough, the day go by later on, my man D, I think he might have been on trial going back and forth. Lord bless the day, because he went home, some young little Puerto Rican nigga killed him up there in the Bahamas or some shit. I think he smacked the nigga or something, because D used to box. And that's what it was in that house too. Motherfucking ball, all them niggas, you know, niggas used to go at it with the hands, for real. And D was, you know, he was vicious with his hands and shit. So by the time D got back and everything settled in going into the night, our boy, you know, took me for the thorough, you know, introductory. Like, yo, this Shabue, boom, me from Cypress, this the guard, So, you know, they like, yo, you from the East, you know, Big D, like I said, was from the East, the Bahamas. Then it was my man, Little Freckle Face Red. Little Freckle Face Red was from Noble Drew Ali. And when I looked at him off the top, I said, damn, this motherfucker look like Big Red. You know, because when I was young, I used to play ball at the BRC, George Rosenbaum, you know, motherfucking Mr. Young, play Coach Reynolds, all that shit like that. So that's how I, you know, grew up going back and forth to Brownsville and everything like that. So I knew Red and Canada Dry, all them first crew of niggas when Noble Drew Ali that was built that, you know, they was on some gangster shit, but them niggas was ball players. Earl Fuller and all them Skeet and them, they all lived in there. So I said, yo, man, you look like this nigga that I know named Red from Noble Drew Ali Plaza. He was like, yo, that's my uncle. And then it went down the line. You know how that shit goes. So boom, I was good. So they like, yo, what's up? You know, matter of fact, I skipped something because I know what happened was they didn't send me to the island. Them niggas sent me up to the 9th floor with them niggas throwing them, and that's when the 9th floor was going crazy in Brooklyn House. And I got up there, and I think it might have been a Puerto Rican nigga or something in that slot, and I was like, yo, I gotta get with that. And my man, Tony Starks, that's why I always think that Ghostface when he say that Tony Stark shit, because he was from out of Staten Island. Me and him was up north together. So he's like, yo, Sha, I'm gonna, you know, make sure you get in. But I wasn't up there no more than like 2 nights, and that's when the whole shit went. So that was short-lived. And like I said, the beat and shit. So
you said what happened in Brooklyn House that they got you up out of there?
Them niggas down on the 4th floor. Cause you know, I went directly to the big nigga, whatever, you know how they get. And they could get a Panamanian or Dominican to represent them, you know, in their crew. And you know, he had a nice size on him, but I told him directly, like, look, man, I didn't have no choice, lads. My girl don't got a phone. I'm in here for 6 attempt murders on the police. I may never go home again. This attitude that I got is going with me wherever I go. I got to get the fuck on that fucking phone. And at that specific time. So they shot me up to the 9th floor. The 9th floor was bubbling there. Niggas was 8th and 9th floor. They was getting it in the house at that time. So like I said, I got up there, Thor, it was a bunch of them niggas. They was running around. Wow. Yo, that's the first time that I learned about when you peel the paint and shit off of the walls and all that shit, and motherfuckers take that shit and put water to it, and they keep rolling it and rolling it and rolling it until that shit, when that shit dry, that shit dry like a fucking, like, you know, a pellet or something. Motherfucker put that in the sock and hit you. Yeah, they was up there wilding. So they got me in. I might have did like two days up on the 9th floor before they decided to ship me to the island. And it didn't really make a difference because it was only but so many buildings I could go in because my classification was as high as it could get, which was a 22. Murder, you know, attempt murder on the police, all that shit, like I said, is in the same category. So I can't go to nothing that's 17 and all that shit and under. So the beacon is like 17 to 22. I'm there. They put me in. So the first thing that popped off with me, I goes to the law library, and when I go to the law library, I ran into Derek Bush. You know what I'm saying? Derek Hamilton from LG. And Bush was real good with that fucking law. So boom, we started kicking it more or less. And he let me know about, what was that, the Strickland Washington case. He the first one that started with me with that law shit. So boom, I'm fucking with him with that, and I'm getting into the law shit. So by that time, D is gone, you know, and we see the reason why 4A was different was, like I told you, at that time, that's when the shit was going around with, you know, the houses that the Spanish and the blacks gotta have a phone. But D and them niggas was on some different shit. They was on some black love shit. Like, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? It's 48 cells or whatever that's in this shit. It's 33 of us. So at the end of the day, we holding both of these jacks. That's how it was going down in 4A. And then that's right around the time too that the 6-minute click shit popped off. But what made our block so fucking sweet was that we had a steady named Rodriguez and Harris. I'm gonna shout them out because the motherfuckers, we was living with them for real. They was off the chain, and one day Rodriguez was fucking around in the bubble, and he pulled some wire. He knew what wire was the yellow wire. And when he pulled the wire, all of a sudden, our shit didn't 6-minute click no more. Our shit was going straight through. So now, you know what I'm saying? We got it better than anybody, so you can't fuck that up. And back then in the Beacon, you know, if you kept your house the cleanest house or whatever, you know, you get a chance to watch an outside movie on Friday. We used to win that shit all the time because niggas couldn't come in and throw no cigarette butts down on the floor. That was our rules. We got buckets all around there. If you smoke, you put your shit there. Our shit stayed sparkling. But this is now I'm getting ready to go into how many gangsters. And another thing, in some of these stories, you know, when you're telling stories, you may not remember all the live wires and everybody that was there. So if I left your name out or something, being in the building and all that shit at that time, you know, don't personal. But like I said, D went home, found out he got killed. Ball went up north. I think he got like 12 or something. And Little Ray, he took his shit to trial. And what happened was he was down in hustling over there in Lower East Side, and he was selling that boy. And he had a nigga out there doing it for him, and he'd meet him blocks over and get the money from him in the candy store. Police watched the whole shit. Basically, they found him with a $10 mark bill, and they offered him $5, but you know, them dudes was in and out, so he didn't want to take it. He took it to trial, and he blew. So basically what I'm saying is the house was flipping over, but once again, I was on some guard shit all the way anyway, so it didn't make a difference. And then this is when cats like TA, you know, Allah bless the day. And this is what I'm saying, lads. I'm giving you classic shit right here. Cause homie, you know what I'm saying, was like Cat's OG. You know what I'm saying? Like them niggas was robbing banks and shit like that at 15 and all that shit, like real motherfuckers. And this dude was like the Jerry the Jew of the legal system, you know, like them gave back 37 years, this, that, and the third. But keep in mind, right, while all of this is going on, is the shit out in Queens that had just pop off is going on. So this is direct right here, you know, and not just him being locked up in there, but everybody that know, you know what I'm saying, Royal Hale, who they call Muhammad, was locked up in there. And matter of fact, when they beat the 4 bodies on the Colombians in trial, he was like, this shit don't look good, Shaq, because they ain't come, you know, pick me up within 24 hours or whatever. They ain't released them. And sure enough, they went from there straight to the feds, him, Prince, and all of them. And I'm going to fill in pieces. So you got TA, you got my man Gallo, who him and Shaka, you know, his name was Divine and shit. You know, your brother Zaim from out there, all that South Side, all that, the guards, everything like that. But him, and they got a cat. When you check the history, matter of fact, I heard he home right now on some straight militant running around with them young boys like, yeah. But this motherfucker name is Malik Jackson. And they would not let him out the box, cause like I said, them type of dudes, they beef ain't never with that little yo-yo shit back and forth. Them niggas be bringing drama, knocking police out and all that shit like that. And matter of fact, in the Beacon at that time, it was him and another dude that I'm surprised none of these so-called, you know, gangster YouTube niggas, a cat called Kabaya. he was a big time. I don't know whether he was. I think I want to say he was from out of the Bronx, but he was a getting money dude, like in that category with Jordan, all them type of dudes and everything else. And he's supposed to came in there like looking at a 2 to 4, and this nigga ended up catching, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm allowed that if any of y'all want to come back behind me that no, but he's supposed to caught like about 4 bodies, you know, on the island, you know, while he was there. But all of them dudes was in the box. And I could say what I'm saying because I used to be in the law library when they used to come out the box to the law library. So I done sit down with Kabaya and look through this nigga's whole album book, and you know, son was official doing it out there. So like I said, all the gangsters was in there, but Gallo and Shaka and Malik and them, they was running around, and niggas know they can get angry, but niggas know them niggas was running around putting fire to niggas' asses, robbing, you know, they was like on that preacher crew shit, you know, robbed the drug dealers for real type shit. So all of them is in there on bodies, you know. So Gallo in my house, T.A. in my house, Roy Hale, Muhammad is in there. And then next comes in motherfucking my man Hatchet. Bloody Hatchet. You know what I'm saying? Which me and him got mad cool because once again, a lot of them dudes was 5%ers before, you know, any of that other shit. And on top of that, like I said, real recognize real. So a lot of times it ain't never no issue, not unless it's something about you that's oozing out that a motherfucker that's really real is saying, you know, and depending on his complexes, like, yo, this motherfucker is fake as a motherfucker, I'm gonna pull his car. But anyway, he in there, you know, my man Big Ed Agard from out of Brookline, Nubia, rest in peace. He went home and went back to sticking up, and some young boys shot him in the back of the head and left him on Louisiana Avenue. You know, Big Born True from there, that was Hatchet's man, was in there also, because they was in there, if I'm not mistaken, Hatchet was in there at that time on some attempt murders with the police too. You know, he was the first cat that turned me on to that book called The Westies and shit. And I read that before they made that shit with Sean Penn, State of Grace. You know, my man Little Inch, you had 2 inches, you had Inch, well known from Rutland Road and everything. And then you had my man Inch from out there around Gershwin and Penn Workman. And I knew Inch because Inch used to come to my projects all the time because his half brother Dirty Ron and his sister Sharon and them, they stayed in the projects. Plus me and Inch was up north together. And matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? I just gotta keep these stories 100. Okay? My man Inch was in there for the murder of my man Pig from my project. Okay? So, along with him, I got shit. It was a few more cats, you know, but the house was gangstered out. You know what I'm saying? And TA and them, cause they, you know, cause they was connected abroad that worked in the mail room. You know, at that time she was connected with the team and everything. So them niggas was getting in, you know, back then you could send the shit in with the sneakers. So niggas that's getting money in the street and they want to get the drugs in, along with a lot of these motherfuckers that ended up being COs at that time. We grew up, knew these motherfuckers from the streets. But that's how motherfuckers that was getting money was getting it in. And you know how that go, nigga, what side you wear. You know, you wear 8, all right, nigga, you got a pair of sneakers coming. So them niggas is getting, and matter of fact, that's when the Forgatos and shit, Pretty Tony, Lance's brother, that's when he had that motherfucking damn, it was Black Rain. Yeah, Airborne Black Rain that, you know, was killing them. So them niggas was getting that shit in cold, dope, weed was nothing. And they, you know, they got Phillies all up in commissary. But at that time, right, you got some of them racist motherfuckers that's in the building. So I'm gonna go through some of the little stories that popped off then. Okay? So now I'm 4A, like I said, we living, man. We getting it in. Me and Bush, we going back and forth to Chow, like, you know, it's like a fashion show. Sergio, this, that, and the third. But really, I start killing niggas because I had all that fucking tailor-made shit, you know, because like I told you, we had Dapper Dan's motherfucking 2 best tailors. So I got dungaree, leather shit, motherfucking all type. I got Bally's with the gold Gucci around it with the you know, velour gold shit with the blue Gucci. We going crazy in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie, that's fucked up that a motherfucker could say that you in jail and you facing the rest of your life, but like motherfuckers is living like really we on the streets. If you was really about something in the streets, then you gonna get held down. That's what I say. If you official motherfucker, it's gonna be all the way around the board. It ain't gonna be no half stepping. You gonna have fly chicks coming to see you. You gonna keep money in your commissary. You gonna, you know what I'm saying? You gonna be geeked up, you know, and all that. So when motherfuckers talk shit, if you really wasn't living like that, boom. But okay, we gonna go to the first encounter. Like I said, we had the racist police. Them niggas, it's the one nigga. His name was Captain G.